Well, good morning, paper crafters. In today's video tutorial, we are going to be making wedding cards. Here is one that we're actually going to be making in the tutorial. Then I also made one using just doilies that I folded up, which was very easy. I have a little bit of ribbon at the waistband. And then this next one was the easiest of all. All I used was the 2¼ circle punch for the dress. So I used the ornate frames for my lace, and I'm going to show you here how to use the double-sided adhesive. So it comes as pictured, and you pull off that first layer. Then you lay your cardstock down over the sticky part. And then just like you would with contact paper, you pull off the rest of the adhesive and smooth it down flatly. And then I just trimmed off the excess. And I can save that little piece on the end there to the right for another project. Now I use the ornate frames to obtain my lace because I didn't have the lace die, but this works perfectly. So I took the two smallest frames, laid them in my die cutting machine, and then took the double-sided adhesive paper that I had just done, and that is Whisper White, and die cut out a little pattern of lace. And I did that a couple of times so that I would have enough for my dress. Then all I did was punch it out. If you lay it in on your little sponge there and take your brush over it, you can get out a lot of those bits and pieces. Then just pull off the backing there, and it is sticky on the other side. Now, if I had to run it through my die cutting machine one more time, it probably would have taken all those out a little bit easier. But do you see, it is very sticky on that one side. And like I said, the easiest dress I made was using the 2¼ inch circle punch. I punched it out 3 times. And I will show you in a little bit how I folded it up. I also made a card using the square vellum doilies and glued that on top of white cardstock. And then there's the one just using regular doilies that you would buy at any store just about. Walmart, Dollar Tree. I took the plain circle dies, and remember, my smallest is number 1, then 2, 3, 4, and I used the number 5 one. And I die cut 3 circles out. Then you will fold them almost in half, not completely, because if you leave that little edge there, it gives you a little bit of another edge or like a ruffle area on your dress. So you're going to leave maybe 1/8 to 1/4 inch there. Then I took my lace that I die cut out and adhered it to the smallest part of that circle. Now, I was afraid that it wouldn't stick completely with that double-sided adhesive, so I just took a little bit of liquid glue just to make sure. Put it on the back and then glued it to that half circle part. Then all you have to do is turn it over, take your paper snips, and snip off the excess. Now save that because you can use it. So now we have a half a circle covered in lace. And I did that on all 3 of the circles. And again, only on half of it. And the half that I put it on was the shorter half circle. Now you'll see here how I use those scraps, because in the final card you can't tell that it was kind of piecemeal together. So I just added a little bit of extra glue on the back of that, lined up the straight edge to the straight edge of the semicircle, then took the other piece that was left over from the other one that I cut out and just kind of finagled around a little bit till it looked like it would be a good piece to put inside of that empty area, and glued that on. Now don't forget to subscribe and press the notification bell for upcoming videos. I post a new one every single Monday. I had a friend that asked for a wedding card and I didn't have one made up, so that's why I said, oh, I better make some up so that I have them for my friends that would like one. So I ended up making 5 of them. Now, this is something new, adhesive spray that I have from Beacons, and it is, again, like all the products from Beacons, a really fantastic product. Now, unfortunately, though, the last time I had used it, I forgot to kind of clean out the nozzle, and so it was stuck and wouldn't spray. So I just took one of our little spritzers, poured some of the liquid adhesive into it, and then you want to make sure when you're done gluing your project down, you take that little sprayer and take it to your sink and pump some fresh water through it. Then I also took some of our shimmery paint with some alcohol and sprayed it over the top of that lace. Now this is going to be for the shoes so that it would sparkle. Isn't that pretty? And then I just set it aside to dry. So now we're going to put together the bottom of our dress. And you see how that one little area doesn't have any lace in it. You just put those 2 together, and you can see that forms the bottom of our skirt or our wedding dress. and I aligned it like I wanted it with a little bit of a waist toward the top, then just laid it down flat on my work surface, applied some liquid glue. That's the Beacon's 3-in-1 glue. Put it on one side, folded it down, put it on the other side, and folded that down. And then I was able to flip it over and open up that back part, which was not glued down, put a little bit of liquid glue there, and lay it down so that it was completely adhered. Now there's two different designs that I made for the top. One is like that, which is a V-neck, and then this one, which is just kind of curved, sloping downward, and that's the one I think I'm going to use this time. So I had cut out a template, and I'm going to use that, but it's very simple to do. So you will take your other half circle, and you will just trim it up and angle it outward. So take it, lay it over the top of your skirt, take your scissors, and cut upwards from the waistline and curve it up. Now I'm going to save that little template because that's the perfect size for that. And that's going to be the top of our wedding dress. I love how it kind of slopes down. So then you will just take your liquid glue and adhere that to the top of your dress. And I just kind of turned it over, measured where I wanted it, put my fingers so I would know where to apply the glue. Put a little bit of glue on the back and then laid the bottom of the wedding dress on top of it. Then opened up that top part, which is the top of the wedding dress, and added a little bit of liquid glue there and adhered that down. Now that piece that I had sprayed previously is now dry, and I'm going to take the shoes from the all dressed up die set. It is part of the Dress to Impress set, and I just laid the die over the ornate frame area that had like a little flower on it. Then I flipped it to the other side and laid the shoe die on exactly the same place so that the shoes would match. And I die cut them out. Now you have to be very careful when you're lifting that low-tack tape off because that lace can be a little bit loose and fragile. So go very slowly pulling it off so you don't rip it. And now we have a pair of matching shimmery high heels to go with the wedding dress. I really love that stamp and die set with the dress. And you see, they both match. Oh, they're gorgeous. Okay, let's put together our card. You will need a piece of 10 by 7 Whisper White cardstock, and I use the thick. You will score it at 5 inches, then fold and burnish it. All of the measurements will be down in the description box. Then you will need 2 pieces of 6 3/4 by 4 3/4 silver foil sheets. And out of one of them, you are going to take the largest ornate frame and die cut out the middle. You will need a piece of 6.5 by 4.25, and I embossed that with the Dainty Diamonds 3D embossing folder, just to give a little bit more texture. Isn't that pretty? And then I took a piece of 5.25 by 3 3/4, again whisper white. I die cut the largest ornate frame, and this will be for the inside of the card. And then I stamped congratulations from the Well Said stamp set. And I did that with it's a retired product, but it is silver pigment ink, but you could also do it in embossing powder, the silver that we do have. Now, because foil sometimes shows through the glue, or the glue shows through the foil, I decided to put double-sided tape on the back of it. And here I made a little boo-boo. I was supposed to put the one that was the die cut one on the top of the card, but it's no problem because you'll see that in the final card it still worked out okay. And this is a little trick that I learned from Jan, who is also, Jan B, I think is who she goes by. She's a UK Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and she just takes both sides of her double-sided tape and kind of folds it down. Then she's able to line up her cardstock more easily. Then she pulls off the rest of the double-sided tape off and then completely lays down her piece that she's gluing there. Now that was supposed to be on the front, but again, it's going to work out. Oh, shoot. So that also has double-sided tape on the back of it. And I'm going to just adhere it to the inside of the card, and then I'm also going to adhere the sentiment piece. So I'm going to put the video on fast forward, put a little bit of music on, and I will connect back with you after the card is completely decorated. So I added some pearls onto the dress, die cut the word bride out twice with whisper white and once out of the silver foil, glued them together, added them to the bottom of the card there, then put dimensionals on the shoes and the dress and adhered them to the card, and it was quick. So I hope you enjoyed this video tutorial. If there's anything I can do to help you out, or if you need any of the supplies, please visit my 24/7 online store. And I'll see you guys soon. Thanks for joining me. Bye.